Hey fellow vinyl friends, Diana here. I hope you are all well. I just wanted to do another update with some more recent acquisitions, and I planned to film outside because it was supposed to be sunny today, but in the minute I went out it started pouring down and now it's sunny again, so yeah, whatever. I hope I will be able to film more in May because I will be traveling a bit, and I hope to be able to take you with me into some record stores and on some digging adventures and to an Art Ensemble of Chicago concert, which I'm really excited about. And finally, the last contest prize arrived. Richard Riley, who won the first place at my subscribers contest, wanted to have a painting of Jelly Roll Morton and Bessie Smith together, which I found really interesting and it was so fun to paint, and therefore I just want to show you some pictures of it because of course I don't have it here anymore. So onto the records, and the first one is Brave New World, Impressions on Reading Aldous Huxley. This is a kind of conceptual album, and the band wanted to visualize or audiolize, or is that even a word? Well, they wanted to record what they felt while reading the classic novel from Aldous Huxley, Brave New World. And this one was recorded in 1972 on Vertigo, and this is the 2016 Barber repress. This was a short-lived German project, and I think it's a one-of-a-kind crop rock album because it mixes jazz and rock and electronics with a tinge of folk, and you have a really prominent flute on here, which makes it stand out, I think. And I love that there are a lot of dark and twisted atmospheres in here, but also some more light-hearted flute parts, and I think it complements each other really well, and it's an enjoyable album. And the next one was a recommendation by Easily Vinyl Teddy, which I appreciate a lot, and I always love to see his videos, and he always has top-notch recommendations, so I can just highly recommend you watching Teddy if you're not familiar with it, but I doubt it because he's great. And he recently shot an album by a German band, which is funny because an American RC member just brings my attention to a German album, which is pretty cool. And the album is made by The Dwarf, and the album is called Lux. It's The Dwarf featuring N, and the album title is Lux. This was released in 2017, recorded in 2016, released over Umland Records, only available on Bandcamp, and this is a really limited album. They made only a quantity of 60 records, and there are still some available on Bandcamp, which I will link below because I think you really should check it out. And yeah, if you see it here, this is the amount of people playing with it. In total there are 26 people playing on this record, and usually I'm not into this big band stuff, but I think big band is the most wrong word for this record because This is really intense and wild and atmospheric. It can overwhelm you listening to it at the first time. Because it's jazz, well, you have violin and cello and trumpet and trombone and saxophones, a lot of saxophones, a theremin, some guitars and synthesizers and electronics and bass and drums on here. But this has a really interesting drone post-rockish quality to it, and I really like this intense atmospheric flavor on here. It's really hard to describe, so I'm going to needle drop this a bit more extensively, and I can just highly recommend it. And I hope to see them live soon, because I just noticed that they're from the same federal state as I am, and they're touring a lot, so I hope to see them, because I think this would be a unique live experience as well. The next one is a well-known classic, which I'm pretty happy to finally have in the collection, and it's Brine, Before and After Science, released in 1977 over Polydor. This is the German repress. Yeah, Brine was joined here by a lot of great artists, for example Phil Collins and Percy Jones and Red Davis, Jackie Liebetzeit, Phil Manzanera, Robert Fripp of course, Rodelius and Möbius, and Shelley Williams, Brian Sherrington, and so you have a kind of all-star cast here. And it honestly took me a while to get into this record, and as you know, I'm a big Brian Eno fan and I love his first 3 albums, and this one was kind of different, and the first 2 times I listened to it I was thinking like, oh okay, I don't know if I like it that much, but it grew on me while listening to it. And so when I saw this really pristine pressing, I just had to pick it up. In these metal days. song is playing in the back, and I'm pretty sure it will be one of my favorites. And that's Blameful Eyes Plemora, released this year on Urban Wave Records. Okay, glossy so you can see it. Yeah, if you have watched my videos, you know I'm a big fan of Blameful Eyes. Daniel, the main part behind this, is now making videos, sharing his vinyl collection, which I can highly recommend. I will link his channel below because he definitely needs more subscribers and he's showing awesome content. And Blameful Eyes is a Swedish jazz outlet consisting of Daniel Israelsson, Yuri Stone and John Granström. This is the 4th album they made, featuring stunning artwork, really nice labels, and a poem from the one and only Christopher Cole, which you all know under the moniker John Coltrane 68. And yeah, he has contributed a really beautiful poem, and this album is just beautiful spiritual jazz, really deep and transcendent and ambient and really heartfelt. And what I like about this album and Blameful Eyes in particular is that he is constantly evolving. Not one album sounds the same like the other, and this one has some electronics and more chanting on it, which I really appreciate and like, and I'm really happy that Daniel let us have part on his musical journey and shares it with us. And yeah, unfortunately I'm pretty sure this is sold out already, so if you ever come across a copy I can highly recommend it, and I will link the Bandcamp link below so you can hear it fully. But I will also insert some needle drops. And the next one is Irmler in Wohlfahrt Illumination, released in 2011 over Klangbad. This album is made by Hans-Joachim Irmler, which you might know from Faust because he's a member of it, and Christian Wohlfahrt, a Swiss drummer. And this was recorded from 2008 to 2010. This was an absolute blind buy because I saw it for cheap and was thinking, okay, why not? Couldn't hear anything about it on the internet, and I wanted just to try what it sounds like. And I'm planning to do a blind buy video next because I have a lot of blind buys, and I think it's interesting because sometimes you have different expectations and sometimes you're surprised, sometimes you're underwhelmed, and yeah, I want to just show some of my blind buys. This is one as well, and this is really interesting because the first side consists of a side-long track which is really quiet and ambient. In general, this is more the avant-garde experimental electronic stuff, I would say. And the second side consists of 4 songs which are more forward and more noisy, and there the drumming also takes place because on the first side it's really quiet and you cannot hear a lot of drumming on it. It's interesting, and I think it might be interesting for people who like the avant-garde experimental electronic stuff. I will put some needle drops, so if you ever run across it, because you can find no samples online, so you can hear if this is your thing maybe. for today is also a classic, but I just want to share my story with this record because I've mentioned before that I am not a fan of the Love album, but here it is, which is like I always said, okay, I'll listen to this kind of like a dozen times. The first 2 times were like, oh, I want to check it out, and then sometimes I was listening to it because it popped up in the YouTube playlist or at some other places with friends, and so just as a background music. And the first 10 times I was thinking like, okay, I've always thought this would be a totally different album because I was listening to it the first time expecting this would be psych. And I was kind of put off because I was like, okay, that's not psych to me. And kind of disappointed because I thought the most psychic thing on this record is the cover. But yeah, all the people kept recommending it to me and I was like, I don't know, this album just didn't click with me. But a few months back, suddenly I just noticed that I kept coming back to this album and really enjoying it. And I had stuck it in my ear all day. When I started to not convey this as a psych album, but more like a psych pop maybe, or a pop singer-songwriter album, it suddenly just clicked and I was able to enjoy the album. Because the first time the kind of Mexican flavor put me off, because I was familiar with the other Love records before I heard this, and I was like, okay, they are kind of different to this. But now I really appreciate it and I really like it. So I can finally understand what you like about this album, and I think it's a great album as well. So yeah, I always love if you have some kind of journey with music, because there will always be things that you maybe do not like at the first time, but sometimes it will grow on you, and I think that's a beautiful thing. And I like to have this musical journey and to involve with my musical taste. So yeah, well, that's it for today. Just a kind of wild mix between old and new records. So I hope there was just something interesting for you here, and leave me something in the comments, and I hope you have a wonderful day. See you soon. Bye.
And you don't know how